Like many people, I've gone through the journey of discovering the joys of coffee. Starting with instant from grandma's house, to the sweet offerings of Starbucks, then discovering the nuances of specialty coffee. Now I continue to explore in my own setup. Hello, I'm Matthew Encina. In this video, I'll give you a tour of my coffee bar, including how I built it and how I use it. For links and details, check out the companion blog post in the description. Before I begin, I want to thank LARQ for sponsoring this video. If you've been following my studio design series, you know that I've been building out my office over the past few months, which included a humble coffee bar as part of its design. During this process, my friend Chris, a coffee content creator, offered to help me level up my coffee bar in my studio by providing me with an espresso setup. Of course, I said yes. The problem was I didn't account for it in the original layout of my space, so I had to figure out a solution to fit all the new equipment. After some research and ideation, I decided to DIY a mobile coffee cart that could accommodate both a filter and espresso setup, making sure there's plenty of work surface, ample storage, power built in, and could be moved around easily if I want to rearrange my space. Modularity is a common theme throughout my office. To build the cart, I start with the V-Hall sideboard from IKEA, which is the perfect dimensions to fit all the things I have in mind for it. I'll make some slight modifications to it to better suit the aesthetic of my studio. As usual, my dad and brother helped me put this together. I have leftover white oak plywood from my other projects, which I cut down to give this a wood top. I use edge banding to hide the plywood sides and finish it like I do all my other woodworking projects. This sideboard, like many IKEA products, is made of particle board. To give it more support at the base, I drill some strips of plywood to reinforce it. Then I install these roller skate wheels, which are smooth and quiet. The problem is they only screw in at a single point, which puts a lot of strain on the joint. I learned the hard way. To make sure these stay in well, I use solid red oak here, which I picked up from Home Depot and cut down to the right size. This hardwood is much sturdier than what I initially used. To make the rolling of the cart easier, I bought these black handles, which are meant for bathrooms, but they're the perfect size for the cart. I install one on each side. Next, I install a power strip with rotating sockets onto the back of my cart with screws. This way everything on the cart has power, and I only need to unplug a single cord if I ever want to move the entire setup. I added ambient light behind the cart using magnetic clamps for a 4-foot pavot tube. These stick on the metal brackets on the back of the sideboard. The pavot tube is a light designed for filmmakers and doesn't flicker in camera. I control it and my other studio lights using the NanLink app. With my coffee cart built, the next part was laying out my equipment. Considering my workflow and where this cart sits in my office, I decided to arrange my espresso on the left next to the sink, fridge, and waste bin, while my filter setup is on the right, leaving the center as my work area for both. With everything set up, let's make some coffee. One of the most important ingredients for any brew is to have good water as a base. I use the LARQ pitcher to filter my tap water, which I've been using for years, so I'm thrilled they're a sponsor of this episode. The LARQ pitcher stands out from others due to its advanced filter that eliminates a wide range of pollutants, using UVC light technology to purify the water and kill bacteria, ensuring the water is odor-free. The app alerts me when it's time to change the filter, so I always have great tasting clean water. Using the LARQ pitcher is an easy way to ensure you have good water to start off any brew. To make filtered coffee, I start with the Stag EKG Pro Studio Electric Kettle. It heats up my water fast and can hold temperature for up to 60 minutes, which is useful for the slow process of pour-over coffee. For my grinder, I'm using the O-Gen 2 with upgraded burrs. It's easy to fine-tune grind settings and has a cup that locks into a magnetic base to keep your coffee grounds in the container and not on your counter. For small servings, I use the Origami Air made of a plastic that doesn't need to be preheated like ceramic drippers. It supports both cone and flat bottom filters, which give you more variation when exploring different pour-over recipes. This sits on top of a Kalita glass server, which I weigh out on an old Akaya Pearl scale, which I've had for years. For larger batches of coffee, I use the Stag XF set. This dripper comes with a base for measuring beans and doubles up to catch drips when you're done brewing. The double-walled carafe keeps the coffee hot without condensation buildup on the exterior. That way I can keep it warm as I enjoy the coffee throughout the afternoon. Moving over to my espresso setup, I'm using the Eureka Oro Mignon single dose grinder. It's hand-built in Italy and has 65mm flat burrs with stepless grind adjustments. The bellow on top helps with retention, meaning if you measure out 18 grams of beans going into the hopper, you get 18 grams of grounds out. To prep my espresso pucks, I'm using this woodblock by Musa tampers. On here, I have a personalized holder from Optical Blitz for my WDT tool, and to compress my puck, I use an auto leveling tamper by Normcore. These tools help you distribute and compress coffee grounds evenly in a portafilter basket to prevent channeling, which happens when water favors a path through the puck of coffee instead of flowing through the entire bed evenly. I use a naked portafilter to visually test water flow through the puck. The goal is to get an even, syrupy flow through the basket. For my espresso machine, I'm using the Lelit Mara X V2, a single boiler heat exchanger handmade in Italy. It's an upgrade from my Garcia Classic at home because I can pull a shot and steam milk at the same time. The Mara X is easy to use and has a compact design. It allows you to switch between optimal temperatures for dark, medium, and light roast beans. The machine utilizes a lever-operated E61 group head, which is a widely used standard with numerous aftermarket upgrade parts. Other nice features include a cup heating rack, cool touch steam wand, and standby mode in case you forget to turn it off. There's a fantastic teardown and review by Lance Hedrick, which I'll leave a link to in the description if you want to learn more. Lastly, I'm using a Timemore nanoscale to measure my shots and time my flow rate, and use these pitchers for steaming and pouring my milk. I'm currently learning latte art fundamentals from Emily Bryan's YouTube tutorials. My goal is to master the heart variations for my flat whites and cortados. Some days are successful, others not, but it's all part of the learning process. With the main parts out of the way, let's move on to my storage and accessories. Starting with this filter holder by Optical Blitz. This is a personalized version of their developer model, which features my Mod Musings logo on the front. This can host a variety of filters in it, including holders for tools. Unfortunately, my filters for my Stag XF are way too large to store here. These go in my top right drawer, which I've divided up to store my extra prep accessories related to my filter setup. To the left of that, I use this drawer for additional tools related to my espresso setup, like extra portafilter baskets, tampers, as well as a few items for maintenance and cleaning. Below that is a cabinet where I store my beans. For fresh roasts, I leave them in their bag to rest for a few days so they degas and develop their flavor notes. I recently got these beans from Fellow's subscription service, which is curated by their team of certified Q graders. I've loved everything I've received so far, and it's a great way to explore different regions, processes, and roasters that might not be available at my local shops. These beans have been resting for a week and are ready to use, so I transfer them to an Atmos vacuum canister, which helps prevent unwanted oxidation and keeps them fresher for longer. For the rest of my cabinets, I store office snacks and miscellaneous supplies, including this handheld vacuum, which I use to clean up crumbs at the end of each session. Outside of my bar, I have two small shelves by my sink to store my glassware and mugs. For espresso shots, I use these smoked Vero glasses. For lattes, I use these set of ceramic mugs from Fellow. For flat whites, I use these ribbed porcelain cups. And for cortados, I use these beautifully textured mugs. For filter coffee, I enjoy these porcelain mugs from Hasami, but my favorite recently is this handmade mug from my friend Andrew. And that ends the tour of my coffee setup. Yes, everything here is excessive, and you don't need any of these to make a good cup of coffee. But like any hobby, there's an entire world of enthusiasts and makers that appreciate the extra details and nuances that make this level of coffee special. Check out my blog post in the description for links and info on everything from this video. including extra resources to learn more about specialty coffee. If you have a question, ask and I'll do my best to answer. With that out of the way, it's time to get back to work.